Hello everybody, how is it going? And welcome to another episode of Drives in the Axe-Fx 3. Today we are going to be looking at a pretty significant drive, and that is going to be the Marshall Bluesbreaker. Before we jump into that, let me show you what I'm using amp and cab wise. Amp wise, I'm using the Oh-Hi, the Bluetone Oh-Hi, and for the cab I'm using a 412 Rumble, which is like a Dumble cab. It's a factory tune number 903 if you want to check that one out. All I have is like a little room, if I could get to it. Yeah, a little bit of, actually I have no room level. Let's put some room level on that. We need some room level, that's important. There you go, we got a little room, lets it breathe a little bit more. Yep, got the cab, and let's actually look at the settings real quick for the Bluesbreaker, and then we'll jump right into talking about it, and I'll show you what it looks like. So all I messed with was the drive and the tone and the level. That's literally all I messed with. I didn't touch anything in here that is stock, nothing in the EQ, and nothing in advanced. I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. So let's actually check out what it looks like, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So this is what the Bluesbreaker looks like. It's a little bitty black box, and it's basically based off of a cranked Marshall combo that Eric Clapton had. So legend has it that in 1965 he walked into the Marshall shop in London and he's like, hey, I need a combo I can put in my trunk. So he got a Marshall 1961, which I believe they named it after the circuit. It's not named after the year, I believe, anyway. And he threw that and he got that. It's sort of like a JMT 45 with like 4 speakers in it, and then Clapton eventually got the Marshall 1962 combo, and he used that combo whenever he recorded on John Mayall's famous Beano album. And the Beano album, it's John Mayall. Well, it's like John Mayall and the Bluesbreakers with Eric Clapton. That's what it was, and that album became like super famous, and it catapulted Clapton to God level whenever he recorded that, and it was, you know, it was like the thing to do at the time. Well, let's fast forward to the early 90s, right? Blues is kind of getting a resurgence again, primarily because of Stevie Ray Vaughan. So Marshall was like, hey, let's put the Bluesbreaker amp into a pedal, because after Clapton recorded that album, that's what Marshall referred to that amp as. It kind of became known as the Bluesbreaker amp, because everyone wanted it and it sounded so sweet. So they put that sound right into a pedal, and this pedal is pretty legendary because it spawned a lot of different pedals from it. Like a bunch of stuff is made from it, like the Analog Man King of Tone, that one is based on it, and the BB Pre, that was the very first video that kicked off this series. I'll link that if you want to check that one out. That one's actually based off on it too, but all three of the pedals sound completely different. By the way, I'm getting all this, the picture and stuff, and this info is coming from EX Drive Guide. If you want to check that out, I'll put that down in the description down below. It is said that John Mayer does put all of his controls at 3 o'clock, and thanks to him, he made the prices of Bluesbreakers soar on the used market, but I digress. So let's actually check it out. So this is the Bluesbreaker. It's called Blues OD in the Axe-Fx. A lot of people think that, well, I know I did on my Axe-Fx too, that this is modeled after the Boss Blues driver pedal, but it's not. It's actually the Marshall Bluesbreaker. So this is, you know, like I said before, you got drive, tone, and then you have level. I'm gonna play a little bit and mess around, and I'll show you how it sounds on the different settings, and I'll try out John Mayer's settings the way he has it, and I'll let you hear what that sounds like. So this is what it sounds like with the settings that I got right here. And basically the way the tone works is it's relatively simple. So if you come down, it gets darker. Come up, it gets a little bit brighter. All the way up is a little bit too bright for me, so I'll usually take it down. Drive-wise, let's start off at 5. it really gets really hairy if you crank it a lot, but I prefer to run it down. I don't like to have it fully cranked. And let's test out the level and see what that sounds like. I find it sounds the best whenever you put it like around 6. That's where it sounds the best to me anyway. Now let's check out John Mayer's settings. About 8:30 is about 3 o'clock roughly. We're putting it there if we're doing a good guesstimation. And this is what it sounds like if we use John Mayer settings. By the way, using my G&L Legacy Special, and everything you're hearing is coming off of the neck pickup, which is a Del Marzio injector neck pickup. It sounds very gritty when you put it like this. The thing that I kind of don't like with John's settings on my guitar is it gets a little bit bright. So if we could turn that down like a tad bit. You know, and I kind of, you know, basically the settings that you have when at the opening, that's kind of like what I prefer, because with this guitar it gets a little bit too hairy for my taste. But like I was saying earlier, this pedal is super legendary. I like it a lot because it has like a good tone to it. It has like a very good flavor to it. And like in the mid section, it has this very like unique sound in the mids, which is really cool. And that's what the other pedals kind of play with that a little bit. Meaning, like if we go to the BB Pre. So the BB Pre, this one was the one that we covered on the very first video of the series. This one's actually based off of the Bluesbreaker too. I think BB, it stands for Bluesbreaker. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. This one's a little bit different because the bass and the treble are broken up. You know, you still have the same controls, but for the tone they broke it up so you can kind of mess with it a little bit. And so it's kind of hard to purely replicate it from the actual Bluesbreaker itself. I'm going to play it like this and let you hear what it sounds like, because this is kind of what it sounds, the way I configured it, the way it sounds decent. As you can hear with the Bluesbreaker, it's a lot more aggressive. Like that midsection is just like right in your face, and it isn't as like subtle as the original Bluesbreaker is. So you can kind of get into that original territory if you kind of tone stuff down a little bit. The BB Pre is really great, you know, for that great blues tone, because it's a little bit cooler than the original, meaning that it gives you a little bit more gain, it gives you a little bit more balls per se. So you do have that option if you want to go that way, and then you also have the it's a Tone of Kings. That's what it is in Activist, but it's actually really the King of Tone, the Analog Man King of Tone. This is some of the settings that I dialed up on it, and this is what this one sounds like. So the King of Tone is more in line with the actual original Mark I. Now they did make a Mark II of the Bluesbreaker, and that one doesn't really sound all that great. The Mark I is the better one to get. Let's mess with this a little bit. Let's jack up the drive and let's put a little bit more level in it. And I'll mess with the tone knob. This one is also very different. It does have that same character of the original Bluesbreaker, but it's different. It really is. It's different, and even in the tone knob works a little different. I find it's maybe not as bright per se, but the king of tone is a pretty freaking legendary pedal in its own right. So I find they all sound pretty good. They all kind of have their own, unique little like way that you can do stuff with. And I'm gonna try it on my bridge pickup just to kind of give you a little compare and contrast. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap things up on the legendary Bluesbreaker pedals. There also are a few other pedals that are based on this. I kind of just kept it to the ones I showed you because those are the ones that are in the actual Axe FX. This pedal is like super great for blues. I mean, you put it on, it's like instant blues. Let me show you the clean sound. I probably should have showed you this way early on. Sorry about that. And that's a clean sound from the Ojai. I mean, when you kick this on, it's just like, instant like. And what I like about it too is it's very sensitive to how you pick. So, like, if you're picking really soft, you really don't get that much breakup. Super cool, instant blues, the mids on here, and the harmonics sound really freaking cool. Tell me guys, do you use this in your presets? Did you find any cool tips and tricks that I missed? Let me know in those comments down below. If you thought this video was cool, leave me a like. If this is your first time here, or if you've been here before, make sure you press that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the cool videos I got going on here. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. I'm going to have to be out. Peace.